my land series. We're halfway up the mountain, probably another mile or two to go. Drove up last night, parked in the quarry, didn't take a video of it. So right now we got a slight ditch on the right, vertical mountain on the left. Opposite when we come back. The road is a lot better because it's rained a lot. It's November 15th or 20th, almost Thanksgiving. Typically the roads would be all snowed in and too wet by now, but we've had a dry week, so I drove up. There's a little bit of snow out here right this minute, but you can't see it, but we'll probably see some on my land when I get there. I'm still driving there. This is a 13-mile road off grid. Well, this is one of many portions of the road. It's 13 miles off of blacktop, and we're on the last 2 miles right now. And I own a parcel at the top of this mountain. You can see the ridge up there. These are all private properties to the left and right, and we're on a private road right now. This video does not do justice to the road. Like I said, it's in much better condition. Than it is in the summer, because the wind and the dryness blows all the dirt out, and when it rains, it's equally bad because it washes all the dirt out and it just leaves heavy rocks with ditches and little stream beds. And so we're driving up the equivalent of a stream bed. And if I had more money and time and I lived out here full time, then I would put ditching systems, water runoffs on this road, because they built this road in probably the 40s, and they came up here to mine or develop the area, maybe log trees. I don't understand enough about logging, but all of these trees are juniper. I own 21 acres of old growth juniper. These are the berries that are used in gin. They, I don't know exactly how it works. I don't think it's the same as fruit per se trees. All of these juniper trees harvest and flower and put off their fruits or berries at different times in the year. So right now there's a lot of barren trees, but then this tree right there has tons and tons of berries. And that tree right in front of us to the right, in the right there, the big one in the middle, is just full of berries. Very few, if any, people live out here full time. These are vacant properties. Like I said, every single tree is owned by someone, typically 20-acre parcels. There's some snow on that tree burl. So we definitely have snow out here already. But come October, it typically snows. So if I'm out here, I will typically be gone by October, and it's not a real well planned out thing. It just gets cold at night, and then if it starts snowing, I jump in the truck and leave within an hour or two if it's starting to snow. I really enjoy it out here. I think a real enjoyable portion is what I'm doing right now, just driving my road. I really enjoy being in the mountains and the quiet, peaceful freedom. Can be very dangerous immediately if you break down. So the isolation and the loneliness and the dangers also factor in. I would like to buy this property or one equal down by the quarry. I didn't take pictures of, but this property, as you can see, the red dirt, the whole region and area is all lava. All these mountains are lava rocks and volcano, area. But this dirt right there has a really nice color to it and can be used for landscaping, and it just has a lot of nice things about it that I like. We have free roaming cattle up here. This is free range, open range. If you want to keep cows out of your property, you build a fence. Otherwise, the cows go where they want, do what they want. That's what's called free range, open range. It's rancher's law. We have what's called the painted rocks out here. If you go to national forests and hiking and different things like that, you might have seen these names: Painted Rock Canyon, etc., places like that, which depicts certain types of rocks and things that have mineralization that's caused them to bleed basically different colors. And you'll see those types of rocks in nature in canyon areas and stuff, and I have them here on my road. We're overlooking the valley right now. I own another 21 acres right there. We just drove up from that. It's only 10 miles down there. At the edge of that valley, at the base of those mountains, is a freeway, and that's how far we just drove. We just drove from those mountains over there to this mountain range that I'm driving up right now. That's how far away the Blacktop Road is. You can see that man-made lakes out there are actually alfalfa farms. Those are probably 100-acre plots. And again, the road, the freeway is past that. That's an alfalfa farm, and they just water the whole thing. I've been stuck on this road right about here in the snow. Very bad choice. Do not drink a bunch of coffee and just decide you're gonna power up a mountain road in the fall or winter or spring or any bad weather. I check before I drive out here with local people, see if the roads are okay, and then they can only tell me about basic roads out there. They can't really give you detailed. Your life is in danger. So I actually parked down there last night and made sure that I could drive up here in the daytime. Even, you have to be able to investigate the roads and know that you can make it. Pretty much at the top. Someone built a cabin down here decades ago. People come and go. People, like I said, everyone owns, every mountain out here is privately owned in 5 to hundreds of acre parcels. These trees are approximately 500 years old. Old growth juniper. As you can see, not a lot of people out here. Government makes it illegal to live basically the way that you want. All the way out here, you would be regulated. How do you go to the bathroom? First thing you have to do, you would think you'd be able to just go to the bathroom, right? Well, you don't have a bathroom. You have to build a bathroom. That's a complicated procedure. It's not as simple as putting a hole in the ground. I just put a hole in the ground. Well, the road is frozen. So how do you get out right now if you need to go to the bathroom? Ever thought about that? Well, before you go camping, you might want to think about that. Before you go drive out in the middle of nowhere and buy property, you might want to think about that. Will you be able to go to the bathroom? Is there a house right there and you buy this property right here? And then they tell you, and then you think you're going to go to where are you going to go to the bathroom at? So building a bathroom is your number one priority, and the government, code enforcement will, regulate that. And you can't just openly go to the bathroom, on the ground. Because this is my road, and these are all my mountains. Look, there's nobody out here to tell me different. The proper way when you're camping, for instance, or hiking, is you want to, in this case scenario, I carry toilet paper with me. On my property, I have shovels. In a perfect situation, you would have a digging tool of some sort. If you travel like I do, especially in mountain regions, I'm prepared enough to have a digging tool. But in this case, it's early in the morning. I put on my boots. My boots are a digging tool. Put on warm clothes. I have toilet paper. And again, I'm in the middle of nowhere. So I stepped off the road, 50 feet, over, say, by some trees over there. It wasn't here, but as an example, you could get out of your vehicle and you could wander off past that tree and dig a hole with your foot, a nice sturdy piece of wood, or in my case, I have a piece of rebar or a mini shovel, and try and get that as deep as possible. A foot is preferable, but unrealistic for most people. The dirt is so hard. And in my case, right here, right now, I didn't have any of those digging tools, so I put on my boots and used the heel of my boot to try and dig a hole, which was instantly impossible. And when your bowels are moving, these are the situations. If you've never experienced this, just play this out with me. This is what's going on. I have to go to the bathroom. So you grab your toilet paper and you get dressed, because remember, getting dressed, that part, you can't just jump out of your vehicle and, go to the bathroom and on the side of the road. It's a few different reasons. It's just ethical reason. This is a public place, even if you're in the middle of nowhere, and animals and different things will be attracted to your bathroom matter. So you want to be clean about it. And if you ever traveled this, you wouldn't want to see, like, when you pull over on the side of the road and you see toilet paper and stuff like that, that's gross. And that causes viruses and diseases and things. So you want to be respectable. So again, if you're camping, or if you picture this was a hiking trail, how do you go to the bathroom? Well, this is how you would go about it more responsibly. And again, you have your prepared toilet paper, so you grab your toilet paper roll, put on some safe shoes was the point. I have boots, I have slippers. I'm comfortable inside of my vehicle. There's no reason to be overdressed, but I overdressed just to get out of the vehicle. Just to get out of the vehicle. No, I don't wear my comfortable slippers. Put on safe, comfortable boots. If you're in this environment, you should have boots. You don't want to walk out in that environment. There's rattlesnakes, scorpions, bugs, and spiders that can bite you, red ants, different things that you may not think about that are extremely dangerous. If you twist your ankle right now trying to walk 5 feet off the road, it seems like you would just walk off, but you're going to slip trying to walk up past that bush and you're going to fall. Do you have gloves on to protect your hands? If you walk this way through the bushes, are you going to step onto a rattlesnake or possibly off a ledge that you can't see? You need to be prepared before you even walk off away from your vehicle. Is your vehicle in park? Is it going to roll back down the hill? So you try to dig this hole and find out that, like I did, that the ground is solid. It's been iced. It's iced. It's freezing outside, so the ground freezes, and it's way harder to dig now. So what I did was, I don't see any right now, but ground squirrels and badgers, I think it's badgers mostly, will dig, huge mounds of dirt underground, and they'll put up a big bump of dirt. You've seen that everywhere from gophers and stuff in your lawn, the little mounds of dirt. Well, so out here, when I walked off to try and dig a hole, that wasn't working, but there was giant mounds of dirt. So I did my business at the base of one of the mounds of dirt and then kicked the dirt back over it into a giant pile. And that's almost the equivalent. You really want to bury your product as best as possible due to the fact of animals and diseases. And if you are camping in a more public area, especially somewhere, campgrounds or whatever, you have to consider that flies will get on your business, and then they will fly over onto your food and on your face and other things. So there's one thing about nature and the wild, is there are no viruses and diseases out here that you would get in your typical um, restaurant, even, or something. Like the flies and the bugs and all that, they haven't gotten opportunities to get these weird diseases and stuff that you would get in the cities and towns. So try and keep it that way, and keep your business buried, and keep your trash. Take it back with you when you leave. Don't leave it up here. I bring all my trash down. Um, I really pay attention to those sort of things. I've been driving up this road for over 5 years. None of my trash is, being thrown out the side of the window. I'm not, there's no Taco Bell or McDonald's or any of that stuff, on the sides of the roads, beer can, soda can, none of that stuff. Now, the irony of that is that I actually will use cans as marking tools on specific bushes and things, because they have a variety of value. Being steel or aluminum, they're not likely to decompose quickly, so they can stay there as a marker for years. And I've got cans on bushes in certain areas on this road and on my property that have helped me mark and identify, areas that I was at or was doing some work or something, back in the day. So those are pretty cool. You can also use them for noise, to deter animals and things. I have a soup can on a steel spike that makes a lot of noise in the wind. I think that's pretty cool. there's only 3 properties out here that have any type of structure or anything on them. And this is just a trailer at the bottom of someone's property, but up over yonder they got a cabin. They're good people, they're elderly folk that I've tried to do what I can for, and all neighbors need each other, you know. It's priceless to have neighbors. It's priceless to have a witness. In environments like this, your life is in danger. You should have as many points of contact and help that you can think of as possible, you know. There is no law. There is no doctors. There is no help in areas like this. If the vehicle breaks down, you are walking. As far as the eye can see, you are walking. Okay? There's nowhere to walk to. There is no road that's going to get you somewhere within a day. So if I was to walk from this spot right here, if my battery dies because I left my headlights on this morning, or something so simple, radiator fluid, something so simple, you overheat, oil, something so simple, you didn't add a quart, you just drove 500 miles. These are the very simple things: dead battery, oil, water, transmission fluid. You know, I'm not any smarter than that, so, you know, those are the basics. Here's an example of a fully blooming juniper berry. I can take those and harvest those. Those are for sale. That's a product on the market. So I don't know enough, like I said, about trees or juniper specifically. Why is this, you know, in its prime harvest right now? If those were grapes or an edible fruit, I could just munch the heck out of them, big handfuls of them. I'm not saying they're not edible, but they're not desirably edible. You wouldn't want to grab a handful and eat those as a food, as a viable food. It's possible. You'd have to research that. I don't believe they're poisonous. It could be that you could eat the outer shell and the seed is inedible. I'm not sure. Animals definitely eat them, especially bears, coyotes, possibly mountain lions. Something eats these and poops them out and leaves big scat in the road, and it's pretty terrifying, I can tell you. So I don't know what it is that eats them. And again, this is a crop that I could be harvesting and selling as a natural forage product. The juniper trees are not good for firewood because at least in your fireplace, I think they burn too hot and put off an oil that clogs up the fireplaces. And even though you can clean out your fireplaces, I believe it's got some kind of negative effect for firewood. However, juniper is a medicinal plant that has thong in it and other powerful medicinal oils that are used for commercial, spiritual, and medicinal reasons. Very powerful tree. It's got value and in more, you know, foraging type aspects. Maybe not, you know, as a big business, but there is a market for juniper berries and the wood and the needles and everything that could be burned for spiritual practices or ceremonial reasons or something. It's possible the wood smells good and is antibacterial for making jewelry boxes or some type of function also. I have lots of different types of wildflowers and things that will flower at different times of the year. It seems right now that the sage, if that's what it is flowering. And when I say if that's what it is, I mean there's different types of equal looking stuff out here. This that we're driving by right now, this is flowering seeded sage. This is big mountain sage. And this bush alone is hundreds of years old, possibly. Let me see if we can't get it. You can see some of the branches. Anyway, this sage can get 6 to 9 feet tall and have branches thicker than your wrist. So this might only be, 50, 65, 100 years old, but they could be 500 years old. So we got mountain mahogany. The mountain mahogany is an older tree right here. Is excellent firewood and has a red bark and red wood and really super nice. And it is horrible for building. It is a really coiled and curled wood that makes excellent use for carving. And the old lady of the mountain, I'll say, harvests this and hand carves and does whittling and stuff all day. And it's great for some type of art projects involving wood where you want really nice grain and curvature of wood. And again, could be used possibly in jewelry boxes or something smaller where you're not getting lumber, so to speak, for building of houses or something. And these trees, the mountain mahogany, can probably get 50 feet high. I'm not sure. Typically, 20 to 30 feet. And they put off really nice flowers and seed pods that look like a flower. Look like a feather is coming off of them. And make excellent firewood. Smells really good. And it is a super dense wood, like the real mahogany that is only in the rainforest. This is actually in the upper mountains of Lassen County, and I have very dense stands of it. 80% of my property is trees, and a good portion of it is mountain mahogany. So this is a very slow growing tree, and so that's possibly 100 years old right there, and it's only that big. And again, excellent firewood. This is a dense wood. It's a heavy wood, whatever that's called. I'm not knowledgeable on wood, but it's something that's called the dense heavy wood. I have to maintain this road, so I do what I can, try and cut some of these bushes down so you can drive through, but really it's just the basic to get through it. I'm driving through bushes right now, or just scraping the sides of my truck, and this is pretty opened up. Once I get up here around the corner, it's going to be a lot more tighter, and I just don't have time. It's just a lot of physical work to cut these up. It's just hour after hour of maintenance, and this isn't my property, so it's 13 miles of road, so you really just want to cut what's pertinent to you, and you want to deter thieves. You don't want to make it all nice and comfortable and cement driveway with water fountains on the side. Come on up. Instead, you want to make it, oh, you just broke down. So this is a piece of steel that I had a along with a few other pieces, and I made a drag so I could drag the road. That doesn't work, so don't try. You need a really heavy load. We're on my property now. This is one of those cans I was talking about. This is all my property. You see that's my tree right there. The mountain ranges in the distance. And I own the end of this road is right there. These are neighboring properties. I'm everywhere to the left, and these are all my trees. These are giant old growth juniper, like I said, well over 100 to 500 years old. So there we go. That will be one of many videos of my property. This right here, again, about trash. None of this is trash. It is trash. It can be trash. Everything turns into trash. But these are expensive materials. What we're looking at is black and white plastic, which is called panda plastic. It's very expensive. It's used for greenhouses. Everything that you're looking at is basically mostly greenhouse material that's been recycled, not recycled, been cleaned up from other areas and is going to be reused. It's all, I mean, it looks like a giant pile of shit, but each one of these is a little bundle that's tied up, and you know, the wind and different environmental things, you know, makes a mess. But in theory, you know, they're all wrapped up, bundled up, you know, rolls of plastic. And what I do with these is I'll cover up wood and different stuff. I'm constantly bringing material, you know, to my property. So all of this is piles of plastic that will be used, reused. They were originally used for greenhouses and things like that, and then were abandoned by other people and left as trash out in the mountains. So I collected it and wrapped it up, and we'll reuse it to cover up supplies. These are piece of plywood and stuff like that. You know, it's very valuable material. Those bags right there are just contractor bag after contract, about over a ton of potting soil, basically, which is a high-end growing dirt. It's very expensive. Each one of those black bags is about $40, so it's about $1,000. Many thousands of dollars worth of soil over there. Very expensive. Different piles of wood and supplies and stuff that I have. None of this is even on my property. My property starts to the left of that. This is just a staging ground, and this is my driveway right here, and I go that way, and again, all this is my property. All this is my property, all the way behind us and down that way and to the right. But to emphasize, no, none of this is trash. These are all expensive supplies that have been wrapped, endless amount of hours dedicated to bringing these up.